If you think sleeping with girls on the first date is all about getting lucky, you've already lost. In this video, I'm going to tell you exactly how to sleep with girls on the first date without pressure and without making it awkward. Picture this, you're on a date with a girl, it's going well, you had a drink, she laughed a lot at your jokes, and now it's the end of the date, you want to try to bring her back home, but you're not sure. Should you push for it or should you give her more time? Most guys either push too fast and ruin the vibe, or they don't make a move at all and the girl goes home thinking the guy had no idea what he was doing. And maybe she wanted to have sex, but the guy missed out on it because he didn't pull the trigger properly. If you can't calibrate between interest and comfort, you're just going to lose the girl, lose her attraction, and get nothing. If you don't know me, my name is Max, nice to meet you. I've been traveling the world, I've been dating hundreds of girls, and I've been coaching guys for years. Don't make the mistake to think that you have to earn sex with a girl when you're on a date. You don't have to do anything to convince her. She already made her mind before coming. In truth, for most girls, if she comes out on a date with you, she expects sex to happen. Let me tell you the story, for example, of this girl I met when I was back in Europe in a very traditional country. I was in Georgia at the time and I met this girl in the mall. She agreed to meet me to go on a date in the park to drink boba tea together, but the thing is that the attraction and the sexual tension was already there to begin with. Once we were there on the date, there was no big move. The date was all about making the transition from stranger to sex smooth. There are exactly 3 things you need to get sex on the first date consistently. First, and that happens before the date, and that's extremely important, she needs to like you and to be attracted to you. If your interaction with her is platonic and friendly, or worst case scenario, she's just stringing you along for attention, but she's never going to take you out of the friend zone box because she knows you're safe and she knows you're never gonna make a move. If it's like that, it's never gonna work, and don't go and think that you can flip her around once you're on the date. No. Your very first interaction in 99% of the cases is going to determine whether or not you can sleep with her on the first date. She's not gonna change her mind after your first interaction with her. If during your first interaction you did not generate enough attraction and enough sexual tension between you and her, nothing is ever going to change that. That's why it's so important to take risks and to be bold and to be direct and to be proactive when you meet girls, because if you put yourself in the friend zone by playing it too safe, it's not gonna change later down the road. Even if you go on a date with her, if she sees you as a friend, if she never puts you in the box, I can potentially have sex with this guy, you're never getting out of this box. Going on friendly dates, whatever that's supposed to mean, never ever works. So that's the first thing. There needs to be sexual tension. It's extremely important. Now the second thing you need is a nice balance between attraction and comfort. In simple terms, she needs to know that you're not a crazy person. She needs to know that she can trust you. She needs to know that she can follow your lead and nothing bad's gonna happen to her as a result. Basically, you need to show her emotionally that you're safe to be around. But you need to do this while preserving the sexual tension, the polarity, and the attraction. That's the part where it's important to have game. You need to be able to tell and to recognize how much you invest in the relationship in relation to how much she invests in the relationship. This happens the first time you meet her. This also happens through your text conversation. And by the way, if you're not sure how to text girls to get a date and to preserve that tension, check the link below this video. And this also happens on the date. Avoid being needy, avoid over-investing, avoid trying to earn her affection and interest. Be light, playful, lead things forward, and over time she's gonna start to trust you more and to be more comfortable with you. And the third thing you need, which is probably the most important if you want to smoothly transition from stranger outside to having sex back at your place, is to turn her on. You need to find at some point in the date when she's emotionally open and ready and comfortable with you, an opportunity to isolate her away from the public. Not at your place yet, but put her in a place where she won't feel the social pressure of other people looking, and turn her on. You can turn her on with the topics you talk about. If you mention things that you like to do during sex or that she likes to do during sex, it's gonna work in building the sexual tension further. You can touch her, you can hug her, you can kiss her in the neck, you can bite her ears, things like that. This usually comes toward the later end of the outside date, and you're going to increase the tension, the sexual tension at this moment to actually try to turn her on. If you do this well, eventually you will see a moment when she will say something like, "Oh, I can't take this anymore." It doesn't matter the form it takes, it will look obvious that she's actually turned on. When that happens, this is when you pull her back home. Now it goes without saying that the closer your place is from where you have dates, the smoother the transition back to your place is going to be. So keep that in mind, logistics are very important. If you're curious about how to exactly do this transition smoothly and properly, I have a bunch of examples in the mastermind group. You can find all the links in the description below. Now there are things that you can do during your date to make sure it's extra smooth and to increase your odds of actually getting sex out of the first date to the point it becomes consistent. The frame shift here is really that you're not going to use dates to convince girls to sleep with you. You're just going to activate the interest that's already there. In simple terms, you're not on a date to attract her more or to convince her to have sex with you. You're just there to make her comfortable with you in general and comfortable with the concept of having sex with you. The whole point of a date is to go through the key points I just mentioned and to escalate the intimacy and the closeness of your interaction with her. You cannot have a 100% friendly date and at the end of the date tell her, hey, do you want to come back to my place? No, it's never gonna work. Don't go from 0 to 100 like that so quickly. If you do this very well, for most girls, bar the very traditional or religious types, it's gonna take from 1 to 5 hours to bring her back home and to sleep with her on the very first date. When you get good at this, you're gonna notice that the biggest difficulty is in having convenient logistics to bring her back smoothly and to actually spend time enough with her for her to be socially comfortable and to trust you as a human being. There's no real work to do on the date to convince her to come back home with you. It's really about moving things forward while maintaining the sexual polarity, while making her trust you and comfortable with you until you can smoothly, logistically, simply bring that back to your place. It's actually very simple, all things considered, because if you really think about it, you go one-on-one with a girl who finds you attractive, who is mildly open to the concept of having sex with you because she feels the sexual tension between you two. You just make her trust you, comfortable with you, and you bring her to a place where it's easy to go, your house again, ideally close by the date venue. Why would she say no? Now again, just keep in mind as a full disclaimer, you always have a certain amount of the female population that has hard rules about the concept of having sex with a guy, and even if they really like you, they really want you, you did everything perfectly, they have this hard mental rule that maybe they grew up with or that society tattooed deep inside their brain that says they can't have sex with a guy on the first date. Just keep in mind that in some rare edge cases, girls really want it and they trust you and they feel comfortable, but they have some rule in their mind that's gonna prevent them from doing it. At the end of the day, the rule is change her mood and her emotions, not her mind. Don't try to convince her, but put her in an emotional state where she will forget that she is actually not supposed to have sex with you. If you want my full step-by-step first date plan, including exactly what to say and what to do to escalate smoothly, again, check out the links below this video. At the end of the day, getting sex on the first date consistently, it's not about tricks, it's not about techniques, it's about building the right vibe from the start and bringing it to a boiling point where it's an obvious emotional yes for her to go have sex with you. And this is when girls say, it just happened. Your job is just to create this it just happened vibe.